Hello, this is Chris and welcome to another aviation video on Flight Sim. Today we're going to be going over some of my unpopular opinions about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. And, for the first time, we're in a default airport. Let's get into it. Bet you're probably expecting an intro there. No intro today. There's a very important reason for that. I think that... okay, so... we're going to be doing a full flight today, as we normally do. So essentially what we're doing is that we are going to be flying from Honolulu to wherever near Honolulu. It's Kahului, Kahului, and it's a 20-minute flight. So we're going to do this all one big giant recording. It's a 20-minute flight, so we're going to start here on the ground, go all the way over to Kahului. One recording, no edit, and the reason I'm not going to do the intro is because if I do the intro, then I would have to, I would have to import the video, the raw footage, it's only one clip I'm recording today, into the editing software. Then I need to add the intro in, render, and then I'd have basically a duplicate clip, and I'd have to sit there for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, watch it render. So I'm not going to do that. I don't think it's worth the time. I know, even though I have obviously the world's best intro, I think the world's best intro can wait. It can wait. And, you know, it's pretty chill flight stream. Not a stream. This is a whatever. Yeah, you guys don't see this, but it's flickering black on my screen. I don't know why that happens all the time, but... Is it gonna start? Have I turned all the proper things on? Let's see here. No, I've not. APU, that's on. On. That might go to open. Now does it work? Nope. I always get this wrong. Do I need the start pump? That's the one. It's always a bit of a faff getting this thing. Also, the TFDI. No one ever uses this plane. It's very rarely used in the flight sim community, so hoping we could start using it a bit more. This is one of my favorite aircraft, actually, even though I haven't flown it in a while, but that's beside the point. Yeah, I love the plane, and it's really cool. It can fly around Hawaii. And we're using default scenery, because screw it, I'm not going to keep paying money for scenery. Here's our route today. Honolulu to Kahului to PHOG is the airport. 27 minutes of flight time. That's where we're going. Flight level 13,000 feet for the cruise. Hopefully we can have some nice views of Hawaii. Hawaii is a very nice very nice place. What is your IQ? I think I'm right about right there. That's probably my IQ. Anywho, that's gonna be the plan. It's gonna be a good plan. And we are gonna be doing something interesting today. We are departing off of runway 4 left. Actually, I don't think I've changed it yet in the thing, but we're departing 4 left because the winds are 060, and I think we're parked right here. So that'd be the quickest taxi. We go that way, because I don't want to taxi all the way down to the end of this runway, and I could go there, but that's also a bit of a taxi, and it's a really cool departure off this way, and it's a short runway. So I thought, why not have a little bit of fun and do that? So without further ado, yeah, if anyone knows why there's a bunch of random flickers of black screen, I don't want that. I want runway 4 right to become runway 4 left. Cool. And, yeah, that's going to be the stuff. TO, that's all our stuff. Doing flap 18 today. Full, whatever, departure, blah, blah, blah. We want terrain on this side, because there are a lot of mountains in Hawaii. So, yeah. Let's get pushed back. Let's get pushed back, and then we can talk about the main topic of today's video, which is my somewhat uncommon opinions on, I'd say somewhat, but yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go uncommon, semi-controversial, unpopular opinions about the new flight simulator. Gonna be a good time, won't it? Okay, we have an APU, I think. It's just a short flight, we can kind of have a look at some views and get that whole thing done. And it'll be a good time, guys. Just relax. It's pretty late. It's exactly midnight right now, so I thought we just might have a nice chill talk together and just see what's going on in everyone's world. Don't think that we want that. Well, that's interesting. The SID has no actual initial climb, so I'm just setting 5,000 feet, which is the missed approach altitude for the ILS. I think I want that. Yeah, I want to go that way. Alright. Now, a fun fact about these engines is they take absolute ages to start up. So, we can start up number 1. We'll start on the left side, because why not? And let's just make sure it's starting, and then at 20% we introduce fuel. I think. Blah, 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 blah. And we can start it now. Now it starts up, we can go... And the pushback driver. Can't really look around, but we can look at that. The view in the background. That's fun. Default airports, air something. Yeah, airport. But I have Warbeck, so it does look pretty nice. Look at that. Already getting some nice views. Okay, let's keep under control here. Alright, waiting for number 1 to cut out. Caution, hydraulic, aha! I forgot something. Okay, engine number 2, throw fuel on. And we have to make an immediate right-hand turn after departure. And, yeah, we'll have to keep that in mind. So, yeah, it's an immediate right turn, or, yeah, right turn. Because we don't want to crash into any mountains, do we? To be honest, Honolulu, even at a default, even though it's a default airport, is one of the coolest places to fly out of and into. Just because the city is right next to it, and it's just awesome. You know, there's the terrain, and there's a flickering screen. You guys can't see it. Here, let's see if I... Yeah, see, you can see what I'm seeing. It does that sometimes. If anyone has a fix for that, please do let me know. Kind of annoying.
Set parking brakes.
Parking brakes.
Your confirmation for good engine start.
You will get that in like 15 seconds. There, 0 seconds. Alright. We want off, well, we can leave that on, I think. And we want on, auto, on, and then the sound will go quiet. I don't know why that happens, if anyone knows why. Because why would turning on the packs make it be quiet? That's an interesting one, but okay. Can set our flaps to 18.
Unlocking gear.
Very high. I think this is the highest flap setting you can use for this plane.
Disconnect.
Not sure though. I know you can customize, but I don't think they usually go more than 18. Config. Up and over works. Don't know why when I first do this, but down works. We fly though, that's the point. And now we're all staying down. Have a look at the wing view. The external model could use a touch of improvement, I think, but it's all about the systems, right? This plane is just fun to fly. I don't know if it's because I fly it in this kind of area or whatever, but I do like this. It's a little different.
Left is clear. Right is clear.
It's fun, you know, just flying around different areas and different types of planes. Because this is, you know, this technically a Boeing plane, but it was made by McDonnell Douglas before they got bought out by Boeing. So this is more closer to what you'd find in like a DC-10 or an MD-11 cockpit. I'm supposed to be doing 5.3, not whatever that is. Alright. We're set. Okay. Off. We can put the weather radar on. And we can get moving. Taxi light on. Alright. Pretty short taxi. We can kind of start our discussion right about now, can't we? So essentially, I'll kind of introduce the main topics of discussion. So what I'm going to talk about is essentially the fact, I'm going to have to make sure I don't screw up this taxi, that we want to be on Yankee. which is that way. Okay, so essentially, I have some problems with some features and some scenery. Those are my main problems. I'll elaborate more on them basically, but the basic gist of what I'm going to say is there are a lot of missing-ish features. Like features that aren't hugely important. I shouldn't say hugely important, but aren't hugely talked about or like requested or discussed, that I think actually add a lot to the flight simulator. And I think that there are a lot of these small missing issues that could actually cascade into, if you add them all up, it could surmount to a noticeable lacking in features. And oh, that's a good view. And I think that's something we need to stay on the taxiway. Keep an eye out for and make sure, yeah. I'll talk about more of that in a little. I might just sound like a complainer, which, I don't know. I think there's always stuff that have to keep us a little bit, keep our expectations in line. I think it's easy to get over crazed about the sim and like, oh my god, it's gonna be the best thing ever. You know what I mean? And I know a few people think that, and I know a few people, I need to go that way and actually look the right way, are going to be disappointed. And I'm going to be disappointed if I overrun my runway, which I very well could if I don't be careful. Decent day in Hawaii. It's pretty cloudy. I find that it's cloudy a lot more than you'd think it would be in Hawaii. So that's just something to note. And the brakes could definitely be a bit more. That was just full braking I used. I always seem to find that I taxi the 717 way faster than I normally taxi. You know, today's August 12th. August 8th, as of recording, it'll probably come out August, I think, 15th. So we're getting very, very close to the flight FS 2020. This is getting pretty nuts how close we are already, guys. Like, I want to say, first of all, that I am completely happy, excited, could not be, I mean, I obviously could be if it was, you know. Don't want that. Obviously, if they announce, you know, something crazy or something. But, like, realistically, you know, I'm pretty darn excited for what it looks like we're getting and the footage we're getting. I'll talk about like performance and computer and stuff like that. That'll be maybe tomorrow's video or the next day, or we'll see. All right, for left, here's the end of it. Final is clear. We're not even on Batson, so who cares? All right, are we ready to rock and roll? That is a pretty big mountain up ahead, and I do not fancy running into it. So funny thing with this airplane, of all the kind of weird features it has, it's probably its takeoff is the weirdest. So what you do is when you're ready to go, you hit auto flight, then you advance the power, and then once it's stable, you keep it going, and then there it goes. It just automatically accelerates for you. Like, I'm not touching it. So that's pretty interesting how it just kind of like flicks into it, but who cares? Airspeed's alive. Nose forward. Looks like we're accelerating pretty well. 80. 100. V1. Rotate. Plenty of room. Nice and gentle. I just wanted to get up early so we could get that turn. Make sure it's done. Gear up. Good views. Alright, we're going to make an immediate turn. We'll worry about doing a direct later. Look at that. Don't really have any good cameras set up, but just make sure we do that turn and don't go a little bit steeper. Good stuff. Alright, there's thrust reduction height. Get that nose down for acceleration. Make sure we still climb though, because we need to make sure we clear these buildings. Yeah, it can roll out. Alright, we're good to go to flap 13 and flap 0. So now all we have is the slats, which are still extended out on the wing. Look at this. Look at this. Alright, And there's slat retraction. Alright, we're going to proceed direct to our first waypoint. Nav, autoflight. Wow, that's kind of a little over dramatic. Cruise ships.
Altitude.
You need to climb up to 130, which is our cruise level, which is not a very high cruise altitude, but you know, this is not a very long flight. 130. We're getting a little slow, so hopefully it pitches us forward. Alright. Rip. I don't think I actually hit retract on the flats. Look at that view, though. Look at that view. That is something. That really is something. Kind of. I'm not gonna say like act like this is the world's best view ever, but all right. And the view's gonna go bye-bye now because we're going into the clouds. Getting a bit of the bumpies. I think everything up here is all set. Don't have to worry about it. Okay, now for the main event of the video. You know what? Actually, before we get to the main event, let's plan the arrival, just so we get everything all worked out before it's time to land. So we want the METAR. Hopefully, it favors the 02. 050 at 17, gusting 24. So that'll favor a runway 02 arrival, and then we can do the ILS. So, you should not, there. No. Okay. Fog, star, ILS 02. Alright. This is a nice, it's pretty much, it's a, we kind of enter from the base leg, to runway 02, and yeah, we have a 7,000 foot runway today, so that should be no problem, and we really can only vacate at the end, so we can do a nice long whirl out. We want to go to radio. We want 110.1, and the course 024. We want TO approach. Do flap 25 because we need to roll to the end. And it's going to be 144 for the visual approach speed. Let's see, do I have a good chart? Do I have a good chart to show you guys? Sorry, this page is not available because why would it be? Lol, I probably should have pulled this up beforehand and been a good quality video person guy. Okay, here's what we're looking at. Runway 02 is what we're landing on because that runway is not landable. Well, it might be barely, but so as you can see, we need to exit. No, this is runway 2. That's 20. We really, that turn is very sharp, so basically it's best to just roll out to the end and just take that way in. It's the easiest way, and you can pretty roll. You can, you know, it's not that hard to roll all the way. We could, if you really wanted to, you can make off, but you'd have to land like right here at, you know, and nail your speed. I don't think it's worth it, and you'd have to really step on the brakes. I think it's kind of stupid, so we're just gonna go with this plan. All right, welcome back on board. We're through 10K now, and now we can get to the main event of the video. Like 20 minutes into the video, but that's, yeah, 19 minutes in. So, and you can see how we're gonna plan on that arrival. So, essentially, what I think is that there are a lot of small missing features with the flight simulator, and by that I mean like ground services is an example of this. The ground service is not what
Altitude.
I would like it to be. I think that I don't think it's good enough so that we won't need an add-on like GSX. Like, and you can request catering, but it's just like an animation that pulls up. And there are, you know, like the pushback, you just hit Shift P and it goes back, and you know, like, hopefully the SDK is good, in which case this won't be a problem. What I'm trying to say is the purpose, one of the big selling points of FS 2020 is that it's a sim where you don't need any, like, all the scenery's free, you come perfectly, it looks perfect, the shaders, the clouds, it's all perfect. You don't need any extra add-ons. It's just what you get. You don't have to spend crazy amounts of money to get crap looking decent like you do in P3D. So that's one of its, and I'm afraid some of these small features kind of undermine that, because what if you need to buy something like GSX? Hopefully we don't, and we can get like a better pushback, like an X-Plane for free. Hopefully the SDK is good, like X-Plane's development is just amazing, gives everything you get for free. Hopefully, if not, we're gonna have a serious problem in my, okay, that's serious, it's not gonna, it's like, I'm not gonna buy it, but I don't really want to spend that money. Like, it's kind of, it'd be a letdown in my opinion. Another one is, for example, head shake. The head shake, in my opinion, is not nearly what it should be. It should be a little more dramatic. It should be more responsive. It should be, it feel more dynamic. The camera feels a little bit too static, in my opinion, which seems like it could also mean like we might need to get something like chase plane. You see how we're bumping around like this, and you know. Again, hopefully we can get it for free. Like, I know XP Realistic Pro is $15. That's one of the only things I've spent money on. I think it's 15 in X Plane. One of the only things because of head shake. I really hope we don't have to, like, that kind of piles up, and I don't think there's a replay mode. Imagine if there's no replay. Like, replays are fairly important to me. Like, fairly important. So if we don't have a replay mode, maybe if someone has to develop it and we have to pay more money, that's more money out the window, and you know, I have to buy all these add-on aircrafts. PNG is going to come in $90 for their 737, you know, 100 whatever for their 777, whatever for their 74. Like, it'll start to pile up if I have to keep adding all these. Like, there's no crash animation. It's not that big of a deal. It's just like in FSX, you crash. Oh, you crash. But like, you know, yeah, I see my point. That's topic number one that I think is a little disappointing. Number two is the scenery. So, I'm not going to complain about the scenery, just trust me. The Bing 3D scenery. I don't know if you use Google Earth, you know what I mean. Like, it's all here. I'll pull it up. It's all, the textures just don't look right. Let's we can go to like a big metropolitan airport with the 3D in Google Earth. I don't know, a place. Here we can go do let's go to New York, for example. So here we are in New York. See how the textures look a lot kind of, they don't look right. They look kind of jank and kind of weird and stuff. And that's, I think it's a little more refined, but in the one that had the cities that have like Bing on them, it looks kind of like that. I know the trees don't, obviously, but do I really see? Come back here. Look at that nice island. We're at the point where we don't really have enough information, so I probably really shouldn't be making these, you know, whatever comments that I'm making. But, you know, I'm just trying to stay weary of what could, you know, potentially occur. We have to potentially look out for. So essentially that important is important. I think like Black Magic Design, that their cities look amazing. There's a case to me that they look better because they have the buildings. I mean, I want mine to be not like that. Like, I want mine to be the Bing just so I can see my house. But I mean, realistically, the cities, I think, because I don't know what they look like from high up in, you know, flight levels, or like 5,000 or 3,000 on the approach or whatever. But I mean, I hope it doesn't bring you out of it, because they look all like edgy and janky and all sideways and weird. But yeah, that's the thing I'm definitely concerned about. I don't think people are paying enough attention to that. We can kind of dial down. We can go down to 8K initially. Hopefully that is something that more people talk about. Let's let the people walk around for 15. Yeah, no, we're not going to do that. People, sit down. You don't get to stand up. It's 20 minutes. Get over yourselves. Anywho, that is something needs to be, more people should discuss and be aware of, is the scenery. And some of the small stuff that we're not adding DragMate. Some of the smaller stuff that I was talking about, they kind of cascade onto each other and build up. And there's some people who don't like the default airport. Okay, no. There are some people who think the default airports aren't amazing, which in my opinion they are absolutely amazing. Oh, it's a nice little town down there. I like Orbix. Like, they're amazing. Like, I don't think there is I think a case scenario that you won't need to buy any add-on airports whatsoever for the new flight sim. I might not. If you have the handcrafted, I might not actually buy any sceneries. Never actually bought a scenery for X-Plane. Same deal. There, if you get the texture enhancements of the runways and stuff, it looks a lot better. Like, it makes it so the default airports next, if you just download a free scenery, doesn't really need anything, to be honest. And hopefully that's the case with Flight Sim 2020. There are issues with the runway markings. This is one of the most pathetic issues to be annoyed with. But the runway markings are not accurate. Like, normally I don't know why I'm talking about this as one of the stupidest things. But this is when I was young, I cared about details like this. I don't know why. It was just something I thought added to the immersion just a lot. I cared about it a lot. The stupid crap we did in Re-Young. But so, assuming I'm young me, because I paid a lot of attention to. Okay, let's figure out what we want to do. TFDI, please. Please. Is this going to be a permanent thing? Okay, we're good. Did I ever disarm the speed brakes? Okay. What's wrong with nav mode, huh? Oh, I bet it's in a discontinuity. Need to go direct Hecky. I thought I fixed that issue. Hecky. Are you in nav mode? Okay. So, we're also kind of busting 250, but that's fine. Simulator. Yeah, so in U.S. airports, they either have 3 or 2 stripes for their 500 footers, and then the 1,000 footers are the squares, and then they have 2 sets of 2 dash lines. So it's 3 square, 2, 2, 1, 1, and then that's the end of the touchdown zone markings. In Europe, or in the UK, they have 2 single lines, most airports, like Heathrow does, and Gatwick. 2 single lines, then the 1,000 footers, or then the big squares, and then like 2 or 3 or 4 extra single lines after that. Now, most other airports, like in Spain or like the UAE, most other places have 2 sets of 3, then squares or rectangles, big white rectangles, and then it's either 2 more 2s, 1, 2, and then 2 1s. Like, I hope you guys know what I'm talking about. The dashed lines on the runway. This is really, but the way it looks like in FS 2020 is they have 1 1 before, and then the 1,000 footers for every airport, and then they have 2 2s, 2 2s, 2 1s, 2 1s, which is like some weird combination, which makes no sense to me, and I don't like it. Stupid thing to be talking about, but again, we have to remember I am in fact a stupid person. That's honestly completely insignificant to the enjoyment of the sim. I should not be talking about it. Go on altitude 3,000 feet, which is sub 3,000. What's the altitude by camps, which will be intercepting? We want to go to TO approach. Camps 44. So we're all set there. Kind of see everything coming in. We can start talking about the arrival now. We don't need to be accelerating. We should be decelerating to 250 or at least 240. You should be an open descent probably, because everything's kind of getting a little weird now. We might get a little high, but that's fine. This plane can slow down pretty quickly if it wants to. Not worried about us not being fine. This is Hawaii. We do what we want. This is the land of the free. Even though it is islands and you're stuck there. So I guess you're free to be stuck on islands. That's why I never want to live on an island. Apologies to anybody who lives on an island and is greatly offended by my comments about their islands. I do not like living on islands. I live in the middle of the United States of America. I'm like as far away from islands as possible. So I do like going to them on vacation though. That's pretty nice. Hello views. I like views because then I can make thumbnails and get people to click on my videos if I have good thumbnails. And what is it? Does that qualify as a good thumbnail? Yeah, I think that qualifies as a pretty good thumbnail if you ask me. The airport's right there. Right there. There's a weird like smoke tower by, okay, there we go. By the airport. and it's like super close, and it's weird how close it is. Like, we're gonna get killed by it. We can zoom in. Hopefully we don't shoot through the ILS. Hopefully that plans itself properly. Coming in from above, that's fine. Once we finish the turn, I'll arm approach and land just so weird stuff doesn't happen. I don't think this plane is fast, but some planes will like kind of turn towards the ILS. I think the Captain Sim does that and like try and like attack it, and it always screws itself up. So I'm just gonna let it just in case. We do not have a DME today, for some reason. What are we about? Probably 17. Oh, there is a DME that works. There's one to OGG, which is where we're headed. So 17 miles. We use that as a rough estimate. All right, we're starting to roll out. We should probably think about slowing down. We'll try and let's get it. We'll get it established first. I don't want to use any speed brake because that is, as we all know, the lever of shame, as some people would call it. I would call it that for sure. This is a really nice approach into Kahului, whatever how you pronounce it, because you kind of fly over the entire, especially Road is 02. The other one you just kind of fly over the ocean, but you know you have this in the background, the whole island basically. All right. See, there we go. It's like attacking it. You don't normally, that's not normally how it works. You know what I mean? I'll be fine as long as you don't go above 250 knots, which it looks like we're about to do. So, idle clamp. We can take flats out. There they go, just dropping. I don't know if that's how quick they go in real life. Okay, we're approaching 10 miles now. A bit on the speedy side and a bit on the high side. Here, we can just do 250 knots. I'll set 2,000 feet just in case it takes a little longer to establish. We can go, we need 240 knots, it looks like, to get the next notch of flap out. Okay, it looks like it might be time for the lever of shame. A lot of the lever of shame, actually. Line that up.
Altitude.
Yeah. Okay, we definitely don't want auto. We don't want thrust. Get rid of the thrust. And what do we want? 144. Gear down. Up 13. Can still the speed brake. See, look how quick it slows down. Alright. We can actually we'll leave it at 160 knots. Take flap 18. 3,000 feet for the missed approach. Here, we can slow it all the way down. 144, I believe it was. Yep, for flap 25, and we can extend that now. Alright, landing flap. And we can leave the auto thrust in because it'll idle itself. See what I mean about that smokestack right there? That's interesting. Just pull up the chart, and power's coming in.
Autopilot.
Autopilot's coming out.
1,000.
The nose can get a little bit high when you're using flap 25, so we're gonna have to, or 20, yeah, 25. It has weird flap numbers, you know, 13, flap 18. Bit of a cross, have to keep that in mind. And don't afraid to really pitch this plane. You can really fly this plane however you want, and it'll be fine. You know, I can go like meow, meow. We're fine. Yeah. I really do like flying this plane. You can, like I said, it's a very dynamic plane. You can kind of just force it to do whatever you want it to do, and it'll do it. You don't have to worry about Airbus. It'll just like pitch, you know, stupid stuff like that. It's really easy to land too, even though I'll probably screw up the landing, but not important. And it's like super responsive.
500.
Stable. See, a little high. We can just lower the nose a bit. And now we can raise the nose. Get our stable.
400.
No auto rake too, except manual braking, which is no problem. Auto thrust does a very good job with speed.
300.
Just use the glide slope as a reference, not the pappies, because I think you probably should be using the pappies, but I'm gonna use
Minimum.
this thing. Continue. All right, let's butter the bread.
100,
Really easy to float this plane too. 50 over the numbers.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5.
What was I saying about floating? Maximum reverse. Hey, what was I saying about getting off at golf? I guess that's what happens when you don't float. Alright, it's kind of a sharp turn, but we'll be fine. I think in the real airport that you actually could use that whole thing as a turn, but... Welcome to Kahului Lulue. 22 minutes. Alright, let's taxi to the gate. That was a good flight. Nice short one. Jen. Okay, let's watch where we're going here. I don't know if I'll be able to turn it on right away, or if I need to open the isolation valve. Yeah, I do. Why do you have an auto position if I need to manually open it? Still no? On. Do I need the start pump? That's the one. Alright. And am I going off the runway? No. Not sure where to park. Why does it say slat? Are the slats out? No. Alright, time for the moment of truth. 2:26. Okay, I don't know why. This is actually my second attempt at recording the video. I recorded it the first time, and I hated it. I was doing a different flight, but, and I smashed it. Well, I didn't smash it, but I did because I hadn't flown this plane, and I wanted to make sure I still knew what I was doing. I did shouldn't do that anymore. I did like a quick flight, and just see how it went. And I buttered it. It was minus 77. It was an amazing landing, and not so much for this one. But who cares? We're here. That's that's what matters. And we got off by golf. So, I guess all things do work out at the end, don't they? If I turn the light off, I have. All right. Let's pull her in. This might be one of my shortest videos. 38 minutes. Nope. This will be like average length. Okay. Let's properly figure out what to do. Alright. 4 knots. We can just let it roll in and it'll stop where it decides to stop. Let the plane tell us when she wants to stop. Good spot. Complete flight. Pretty good flight. Replay mode, and if you don't, first time watching the channel, I don't turn off the engines because then it messes with my replay, and nothing can mess with my replay. Alright, can have a look. Where do we want to start from? Let's start from the wing view. Here we go. No messing around, huh? Right down on the 1,000-footers. Definitely pretty high nose attitude, isn't it? Bang. Let's have a look at the tower view. Everything looks amazing from the tower view. I could smash this like minus 1,000 and it'd still look good from the tower view. This looks so good. Boom. Nose comes down, hopefully nicely. We'll see. No. There might be some redeeming. Pretty good center line, at least. Alright, we'll have a look at this view, and then we can, we'll call it. There we go. Boink. Welcome to Kahului, Lua. Alright. Yeah, we can just look at this view, because why not? Actually, you know what? I know view I want to look at. Plop. I want to look at this view. Look how high that nose is, honestly. You can't even barely see the runway from this view. There we are. Alright, that'll just about do it for me. Watch us exit the runway. Yeah, I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. Please rate or comment to this video. Once again, thank you for watching. We will see you next time. And bye!